right. Well, good morning. Thanks for joining me. Today is all about preparing for National School Counseling Week, which is coming up very soon. All right. So, as Amanda mentioned, we do have the slides for you. You can use the Bitly link, or she'll send another link for you. And also, embedded in the slides, and we can also send this out to possibly Amanda, is the Google Drive folder link. So all the resources that are linked in today's slides are also stored in this folder, so you can access them both ways, whatever works best for you. And just a quick introduction of who's talking today. So I am Sam, or Samantha Vidal, and I am a professional learning specialist in school counseling. I work at Keep Indiana Learning, and that is a department of the CIESC. It's a mouthful. And then we also have Amanda Colhan, who's going to be speaking, and she is the leader and wonderful facilitator of Counselor Connect.
Good morning.
All right, so what are you going to get out of it today? These are our three main learning objectives. We're going to outline some free resources that are out there, and I've put them all in one place so they're easily accessible. You don't have to go hunting for them when you're getting ready for School Counseling Week. We're going to learn how you can use this week as an advocacy tool. And then we will talk about practical strategies and resources that you can take back right away for your school and your staff. So we will start with ASCA resources. ASCA provides a lot of free resources every year. And again, I've linked them in the deck for you, and we'll go through them so you can find them all in one place. So their theme this year is standards-based, student-focused. And on the ASCA homepage right now, they spotlight all of the different standards that guide our profession. And most people are familiar with the mindsets and behaviors and use those regularly, but we also have other standards that are good to review at least annually. So that includes the ethical standards and the professional standards and competencies for us. So we not only have standards for students, we have standards for school counselors as well. And there's also standards for those who are in a school counseling preparation program. So these are good to have on hand, review them periodically, and have them ready just in case you need to reference them in kind of a sticky situation. All right, every year ASCA does a photo challenge, and they have a daily saying, and you're supposed to print out the paper and hold it up and take a picture and put it on social media. So make sure you're following the hashtag NSCW24, and you can see how all school counselors are celebrating. And here's a few social media handles that you'll want to follow for that week, because there will be posts out there for you. I also put on here are the, it's linked here so you can access the photo challenge signs and download those or print them. And each day is a different saying about the standards. So how do you use the standards for your program, for interventions, and talking about how we're standards based, but I am student focused because. ASCA also provides some sample morning announcements that you can use each day. In my practice as a school counselor, I know that daily announcements can get long and you can lose the student and staff attention pretty quickly. So for that reason, I adapted ASCA's sample morning announcements to make them shorter and more developmentally appropriate. So the orange link on this slide actually takes you to a spreadsheet, and I have adapted what ASCA has on their sample announcements for elementary, middle, and high school students. And then I included a tab with some sample staff email blasts that you could send out each day as well. Everything is editable, so you can copy and paste and make it your own. I also linked on here, ASCA has a sample press release that you could send out in your community and a certificate of appreciation you could give to stakeholders. Okay, we're going to shift gears, and I know this is not everyone's favorite topic, but how can you use National School Counseling Week as an advocacy tool and an advocacy opportunity? So National School Counselor Week, obviously it feels nice to be celebrated and appreciated. And as school counselors, you work tirelessly for your students and you absolutely deserve to be celebrated. I hope that your school and your district does. But a big part of this week is awareness and advocacy. So our profession is younger than the teaching profession. And we, over the years, continue to have what some might call an identity crisis. So we have some people using different titles. Sometimes our roles are misunderstood. Our job descriptions vary depending on what district you're in or what administrators you have. So for all those reasons, this week is really crucial to spread awareness about what we're trained to do, the impact that we make, and the role that we have in our community. So at the very least, you can use it to just be transparent and visible and just awareness to all the staff and families and stakeholders. So this could be when I say advocacy, you're probably thinking legislative advocacy, and it could be, that could be one way that you do it. So you could talk to your legislators. This is one way, again, that we can spread the correct information out there and advocate for not only our profession, but our students. And we can just make ourselves known to our legislators and be a visible and present force to represent school counselors. We can represent them locally and also nationally, because some of our legislators are just simply unaware of the role of a school counselor, and they might be relying solely on their own experience or lack of experience with their guidance counselors of yesteryear. And we can provide current data for the student needs in our community and our schools, and we can teach them the new updated version of what a school counselor is and what we can do if we're utilized appropriately. So on this slide, there's a lot of links for you. I know legislative advocacy can be intimidating and it can be hard to know where to start. So on this slide, you can start by clicking on the first link to find your legislator and their contact information. And if you truly want to meet with them in person, the first step is actually to call their phone number and you speak to their staffers and get the email address for their scheduler. So every legislator, they don't make their own schedules. They don't do all of that themselves. They have staffers and interns that do that for them. So you want to talk to that person who's in charge of the schedule and see if you can set up an appointment. Usually they'll give you their email address and then just send them an email and let them know who you are and what you want. And the next link there is a sample email that you can use to request an appointment. So I have, I looked online and I took a bunch of different sample templates and put them on there so you can copy and paste and make it your own. The next link is a list of bills that are current right now in 2024. So you can look and find out more information, what's going on, and see if the legislator in your area is involved or authoring any bills. And then Amanda's going to talk about the next two. Amanda, you want to share about the administrative code?
Sure. So the State Board of Education for Indiana, they basically take the laws that the legislators enact, and then they make rules for those laws. So if you are looking for an Indiana administrative code, for example, the Student Services Rule, which is Article 4, is a rule. It's an Indiana administrative code. So you can find that through that link there. Another example would be Article 7, which is Indiana's Special Education Rule. So if you're ever looking for specifics on that, then you could find it via that link. The last bullet there is the Indiana Code. So anything that passes into law, you can find in Title 20. You just have to enter the actual number and then you can find that. We do have some documents that include a list of laws that are relevant to school counselors. So those that you might want to look up or have access to at different points. We do have some documents like that. So if anybody's interested in taking a look at that, I'm happy to send that out. It does need to be updated from the last couple of years. I haven't kept up with it as much, but we do have a good starting point, at least for that. The other thing I wanted to add is INACAC and ACAC is actually doing an advocacy webinar series right now. So I will link in information into the chat on that in case you want to check that out and participate in that.
Perfect. Thank you. One other link I didn't mention is Chalkbeat Indiana. And I just newly subscribed to this school year, but I get daily articles from them, and they write great articles about what's going on in legislation and policy in Indiana, and then also outside of Indiana as well. So if you want to subscribe to that, it's a great resource. But it's important to make sure, remember, don't reach out to legislators or contact them during your contract hours or with your school email. We've had educators who have gotten in trouble for that before. So make sure if you are reaching out to legislators that you're doing that outside of contract hours and using your personal email address. That's the safest way to do it. ASCA has a lot of advocacy tools and resources as well. They have an advocacy toolkit that has a lot of links just right there that you might need, like the infographics and handouts and explanation of our role. So they're all right there for you to access. They also have what's called the letters of support page, and that's where they share all the legislation that ASCA's been involved in or supporting as advocates for school counselors. And it's a very long list, so you can see what your dues are paying for and how they're helping to support us in Washington, D.C. And then Amanda added a link at the bottom too, which is another great resource. Do you want to talk about that?
Sure. Last year, I think it was February, actually, around National School Counseling Week, we recorded a session on advocacy. So it's a full, probably 60-minute session. So going a little bit more in depth into how to advocate with your school board, with your administrators, with your stakeholders. So if you want to check that out, if you want to dive a little bit deeper into the advocacy topic, then you can take a look at that webinar.
And here's another great resource. Amanda, do you want to talk about this one?
Sure. This was actually this is linked. So the Fall Advisory Council is, if you click on that picture, it will take you to a link from Morton High School in Hammond. Their school counseling team presented, I believe, to their school board. So this is just a really good example of some of the things that you can include if you are choosing to present or share some of your program and some of the things that you do with any of your stakeholders. So we just wanted to include that for you to kind of as a template or a good starting point in case you're looking to do that in the near future or during National School Counseling Week.
All right, the next thing we're going to talk about is staff engagement. And these are kind of the more fun activities that you can do at your school. So excuse me, I'm going to share some different things that I have found in my searches. So again, that they're easily accessible to you. This is something from Danielle Schultz from the School Counselor blog. And she made this graphic, School Counselors Help Students Build Bright Futures. And there's a printable that says, guess how many Legos. So this is a really fun idea you could do more for that elementary level. Just a way to engage students and do a fun activity. So the printable and the image are linked on here, so you can print those out. I really liked this. So I found a National School Counseling Week bingo. However, it was not editable or printable or anything. I was having trouble. So basically what I did was I adapted this. So the original creator is Caroline Kochman, but I created a new one. And I have a snapshot on the next one here, but basically you can edit this. It's a template, but this is for your staff. And you can, obviously you can change these for whatever you want, but you can have staff do this bingo during the week and enter to win prizes from you. And at the top there, I have 3 in a row gets you entered to win some great prizes. If you complete all 9, you're entered 2 times. And then you can decide what the prizes are. So maybe a duty coverage or a class coverage if they have an appointment, or a sensory fidget kit for their classroom, or a classroom yoga session for their students, or maybe their favorite Starbucks treat, whatever you are comfortable offering. But I put on here, some of these are from Caroline, the original creator, and some of these I adapted, but they're things that you hope that staff will do anyway, like making positive phone calls to parents, inviting students to have lunch with them and building relationships, teaching an SEL competency for one of the ASCA mindsets and behaviors, giving a mindfulness break, things like that. And that some of these are linked in here as well, so you could send it out electronically. And like the mindfulness link takes them to a short YouTube video that they could use with their students. And it's the mindfulness video is good for all ages. So this is just a fun way that you can engage with staff, and it is printable, or you can use it electronically. Okay, we always, I don't know about your school, but we always do like silly little alliteration or little themed giveaways in the break rooms. But I found several of these online and adapted them so that you can print them out. So just the cheesy things, you know, like, have we told you recently that we enjoy being your school counselor? Or if you're in a crunch, come see your school counselor. Just silly things like that. So these are all adapted from the same blog from back in 2018. So you can just print these out and easily use them for your school. These are also free resources. So the first one is on Teachers Pay Teachers, but it's a free download, and it is a crossword puzzle for middle school students about school counseling, and it's editable, so you can put your information and your school information on there. The next one is, I was going to share this, but then I realized I probably shouldn't, because in order to get this resource, you have to subscribe to this person's blog. So if I shared that with you, that would probably not be appropriate, but it's for elementary level, it's a whole free resource to create a bulletin board, and there's worksheets on there to talk about school counseling for elementary students. And the last one for all ages, from Counselor Up blog, there are free school counselor memes that you could use in various ways at school. Okay, the next one, this is originally created by Tanya Kirschman on Pinterest, but again, I wanted a printable version, so I adapted it, but wanted to give her credit. But this is just another fun way you can give something to teachers, buy a bunch of pens, office supplies, and it says, what do school counselors do? They provide pens, and it's an acronym. It talks about classroom lessons, evaluating your program, networking, and supporting students. So I thought this is a cute idea. And if you look at the bottom, she also then put some data on there. So she put mostly participation data, but she put like how many classroom lessons she's done, how many referrals, how many counseling sessions. So again, it's just another way to engage staff and promote awareness of what you do. And this has been quick, but what questions do you have, or how do you celebrate National School Counseling Week? It looks like, Amanda, we have like 58 people. So I wonder if we could get into breakout rooms so that people can, let's see, I'm going to stop sharing. So people can discuss and share ideas with each other.
Yep.
So what
do you want to do an elementary, middle, and high?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
Elementary, middle, high. If that doesn't describe you, you can pick where you'd like to go. And if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat or speak out, unmute yourself, and that's fine. And you're creating the breakout rooms?
Yep.
Okay.
Almost there. You tell me when you're ready to go.
I'm ready to go. I'm going to pause the recording. Let me share my screen again. All right. So you can get a PGP for attending this today for your license, which is always nice. You just have to click on the link and fill out the quick questionnaire, and then it will send you an email with your PGP. And Amanda, do you want to talk about the stuff coming up?
Sure. We have lots of things happening this winter. We are offering a winter learning bundle, which is a series of 4 virtual sessions. For the bundle, it is $40. Those sessions are being presented by different trainers from Hatching Results. We did already have the first session last week, but it was recorded, and that link will be sent out to anybody who registers. We have our next one coming up on the 30th. So if you want to register for that, that is still open, and those recordings will be available for anybody who registers through December of this year. So you'll have plenty of time to watch any of those if you miss them live. We are kicking off a winter book study, reading Soundtracks, The Surprising Solution to Overthinking. The overview session is on, I think, the 31st of January, and then we will be reading that book and doing some live chats during February and March. So if you want to grab a copy of the book and start reading, you can register for that for free. And then celebrating National School Counseling Week, we are doing a few things. Obviously, this session here kicked things off for us, but we interviewed the school counselors of the year who were just received those awards in November at the ISCA conference. We interviewed them for a podcast episode, and that will probably air, I believe, on February 2nd, just ahead of National School Counseling Week. So if you want to listen to them share components of their program and how they celebrate National School Counseling Week, you can tune in for that. Sam and Hurt, you want to talk about your data session?
Sorry, I almost talked muted. So for Counselor Connect, there is a team that focuses on comprehensive counseling, and this year we are tackling specifically how to manipulate data. So we've talked a lot about why data is important, what data to get, but some of those just like skills to use in the actual spreadsheet to make your life easier is what we're focusing on. And luckily we have a few people on our team who are like spreadsheet wizards. So we are releasing a short, like 20-minute video once a month for the rest of the school year. And it's a 4-part series that builds on each other. So each video gets a little more difficult in the skills. So I naturally was in the first video with the not as difficult skills. And we just released that, and we went over freezing, sorting, filters, conditional formatting, mail merge, things that you can use in Google Sheets and Excel just to make your daily life easier and working with information. And a new one will come out in February. And I personally am looking forward to watching all of these, because I do think some of these spreadsheet tools we just aren't taught them. And I think it will make everyone's life a little bit easier. And Amanda,
Excellent.
you have your podcast.
Yep. Podcast episodes coming out every other month with Christy Berger and Brooke Lawson. If anybody knows them, they're counselor leaders in 2 different districts in Indiana, and they are responding to questions submitted by anybody in the field related to student wellness. So if you have a question you want to submit, the button here will link you to a Google form to be able to submit a question. Or if you just want to tune in to those episodes just to hear what they have to say and the different strategies, then you can do that as well. The first one was posted December 8th, and the second one should be airing around the beginning of February.
All right, and that's it for today. So our contact information is here if you need anything. we want to respect your time. And so we are not taking the full hour today. But just reach out if you ever need anything. And I hope that you are celebrated at National School Counseling Week, and that you have a chance to share all the awesome things that you're doing. So thank you. And you're welcome to stay on if you have any questions or comments. And I will say, just in the breakout rooms, I heard so many great things that people are doing. So we might try to get some of that information from you and share that out, because a lot of people are already doing some fantastic stuff with their staff and their communities. So with that, have a great week.
Thank you.